guys, I know it's a weird time for me to be doing this, but I didn't get a chance to do my Word of the Day Wednesdays this week, so we're doing it in the middle of the day on Friday. So if you're at work, go ahead. I know you saw the little notification roll on your screen that I was doing a live, so tap in. So y'all know every week I do my Word of the Day Wednesdays. This is Word of the Day Fridays, since I'm a little late. But I definitely didn't want to keep you guys hanging. This latest blog is definitely one that is a need for many for encouragement. So first and foremost, my name is Nicole D. Miller, author of When Love Wins. When Love Wins is a urban Christian fiction story of two young women with a rift in their relationship. When Natalie, the faith-based social justice advocate writer, loses her mother, she moves in with her cousin Ashley and uncle in hopes of receiving grief support. Instead of a warm welcome, she gets an icy cold one from Ashley. It seems that her ex, Darren, is feeling Natalie, but is that all to the story? Nope, of course there's more. So this book deals with childhood trauma, bullying, parent absenteeism, but it has some encouraging themes such as faith, sisterhood, and love. Go check out When Love Wins at whenlovewins.love. Alright, so let's get started with our latest blog, It's Going to Rain. So, have you ever had something that was burning inside of you that you couldn't shake, that was all-consuming, that you knew was meant for you, but other people thought it was crazy, other people were giving you the side eye, other people are like, okay, girl, get it together. So, I'm definitely in a space like that, and what I realized is our friend Noah was in a space like that in the Bible. So, in this blog, I share about how Noah was building this ark. God is telling him he's going to do something he's never done before. He's going to flood the earth, right? And if you're like me, and this is what I say in the blog, you're going to be like, well, Jesus, show me the receipts. Like, I need to know. You ain't never did this before. How do I know you're good for it, right? Noah probably just believed off rip because, you know, he has more faith. So he ends up building this ark, and what I talk about in the blog is how everybody else thinks he's crazy but his spirit, right? The people around him, the people who are in tune with him, the people who are called to ride this thing out with him, they get it. They're on board, right? And literally for him, it was his family. So he ends up doing the thing that just seems crazy to so many people, but guess who had the last laugh? I'm just saying, you know. But so often it can be like that in our journeys where we feel something burning inside of us. We feel like this is what is meant for me. This is what God is saying. This is the vision, the dream, and the plan. But it looks crazy. So the name of the blog, It's Going to Rain, means just that. We are building our arcs because it's about to rain, y'all. Okay, it's about to rain. And if you are in need of encouragement or you know someone else who is, maybe you need your faith buffered a little bit, tap into that blog post. I definitely think it is just what is needed. So as you guys know, I just did my interview with the Cleveland Public Library. That was so encouraging. One of the things that stood out to me with that particular interview is that I feel like it was a sign of completing a cycle in my life, or like a nod to something that happened before. So years ago, I had an interview at Lakewood Public Library. And that happened very unexpectedly because back then I didn't see myself as a writer. I saw myself as a businesswoman, but I was unemployed. I was an unemployed businesswoman, and I was doing taxes on the side. And one of the tax clients there, who wasn't even my client, I actually took over for a coworker who wasn't available. And I'm finishing his return, and I'm rushing around, and I'm nervous because the system isn't working, and this guy's a big deal, and he's like a higher up. But he was so sweet, and he's like, you know, Nicole, what is it that you do when you're not doing taxes? Because clearly tax season is only a few months out of the year. And because I didn't want to say I'm unemployed, because that's what it was, I said, oh, I'm an author. Now, at the time, I never thought of myself as an author. That's why this is so significant. But I said, oh, I'm an author. And his eyes light up, and he's like, what have you written? And I was like, oh, I wrote 2 books. Because at the time I had 2 books written. So he said, you know, we feature local authors here. And this was in Lakewood, which is 15 minutes outside of Cleveland. And I said, okay, really? And so that ended up being my first speaking engagement, like ever, in my literary career. And it was such a big deal. They paid me an honorarium. It was like, okay, But what was so touching was that my mom was able to be there. So we were there, and it was like a horrible snowy winter in Cleveland. We haven't had one of those in years, but it was bad. It was cold, it was snowy, and there was only a handful of people that showed up. One of them was my good friend, Tiara. But it was purposeful, and there were people there that needed to hear what I had to say, and they were dealing with horrible breakups and divorce and just a lot of heartbreak. And what I think about now is when I did this interview at Cleveland Public Library, it just felt so symbolic of that time with my mom, who I don't have in the natural, but I have a really good friend of mine who stood in the gap for my mom, and she came. And then I had other really good friends who came, and it was just a sweet time of progress, of recognizing the progress in my career. And sometimes we don't notice the progress, especially if we're driven and we're perfectionists and we're trying to get to the next level. And the way that we measure our progress, especially for me, I'm a numbers girl, so I look at the numbers. But the way that we can measure our progress can be skewed, and we feel unsuccessful as a result. And I have definitely felt unsuccessful and like a failure in my career and in other areas of my life. But when I think about that time, it was just so purposeful and pivotal because the very person interviewing me was like a fan. And I was just like, okay, like this is wild. But again, it's like looking at those moments where you can look back and be like, oh, I made progress, you know, or oh, I'm coming full circle. Yeah, or I'm going to the next level. Like this is a mile marker for the next level. So anyways, I just wanted to share that because, and my flowers are here. Sometimes we don't give ourselves flowers. We kind of hear that saying a lot as far as like give them flowers while they're here. Well, give yourself flowers, right? Like that's one of my things too, is I love if I'm dating someone, they give me flowers. That's like a thing. But it's like I'm intentional too to give myself flowers. So I'm just gonna give y'all that for free. So that's that. I just wanted to just acknowledge that experience last week and my people that came through, and just that I know it was in memory of my mother also, and just to recognize the progress that's being made in our journeys when sometimes we miss that because we're just so used to, we want to get to the next thing. And you guys will hear me say that a lot. I've said it a lot in my blogs, but it's just a constant thing because I struggle with perfectionism, so it's a constant thing. Anyways, happy Friday. Thank you for joining, tapping in. I know my bestie was here. I don't know if she still is. But thank you for tapping in, you guys. Check out the blog, NicoleDMiller.com. If you are not subscribed, subscribe at NicoleDMiller.com. That is where I do all the things. I give you guys all of my events and new books and special discounts and blah, 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 right? So we do have another Girl Talk that is coming. I've been slowly releasing the nuggets. I haven't gone hard. Thank you, Audra. I haven't gone hard with Marketing Girl Talk yet. I will go hard. There is an article at theclevelandobserver.com, which you guys know. I'm a freelance writer there. So, but definitely tap in. It's going to be a heavy and noteworthy topic called Dealing with Grief at the Holidays. So, mark your calendars, December 17th, 6 to 8. And it's at Ink Therapy Studio. So definitely tap in at eventbrite.com. All right, so I will see you guys next time, and have a good weekend.